Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ronald McDonald House of Durham and Wake. This morning we have the distinct opportunity to have a town hall meeting and our annual meeting, at which time you'll learn about our accomplishments of 2019, as well as our struggles with COVID-19 in order to serve all the needs of our patients' families. Before you today is myself, Tom Cavender, who is a Vice President at WakeMed Health and Hospitals in Raleigh. And as Oie and the rest of the House has undertaken, COVID-19 has been at the top of all of our attention. We extend our greatest gratitude to the healthcare workers on the front lines, as well as those workers at the House and the staff who have been relentless in their pursuit of compassion in support of our patients' families. And speaking of the staff team, I would like to introduce our esteemed Executive Director, Oie Osterkamp, who will lead us into the next part of the town hall meeting and to talk about our accomplishments of 2019.
Thanks, Tom. I want to announce that just a little while ago, Tom was elected our new board president. And Tom, you're already doing a great job. Well, 2019 went out like a lamb. We had an incredibly full year of service and dedication to our mission. And I just want to give you a few highlights of 2019. We served in our two house programs, our Ronald McDonald House in Durham and Ronald McDonald House in WakeMed. We were able to serve 914 families, and we had 19,291 night stays. That's pretty awesome. And in our two family room programs at Duke and at WakeMed, we supported 29,236 caregiver visits, 739 nights of care in our 4 sleeping rooms at Duke, 24,912 cups of coffee, and 1,744 loads of laundry. I'm really proud of our team here and also their dedication to taking care of our guest families, along with the volunteers who help us in our mission. In fact, they logged in over 56,000 hours of service in 2019, including 683 meals, 380 activities, and 143 therapy dog visits. More details about this can be found in our special edition of Love Notes that was mailed to you. That's also our annual report. And then 2020 came, and it came in like a lion. We were clipping along. We had our annual gala at the Angus Barn on March the 6th, and in less than a week later, we had to close programs, and everything that we had been doing either came to a screeching halt or we had to start doing it differently, including where we worked. We went from being here inside of our programs, just like everybody else, we had to start working from home. We've been rotating leadership and family care team and some other personnel rotating in and out of working at the Ronald McDonald House so we could still stay open 24 hours a day, taking care of our guest families while protecting ourselves as well. Since March the 21st, per directive of Ronald McDonald House Charities Global, we have not been allowed to welcome any new guest families into either one of our two Ronald McDonald houses. So as our families have left, we have not been able to replace them with new guest families. So as of April the 24th, all of the families had left our WakeMed house. So we then repurposed it to allow WakeMed to offer any of our 5 bedrooms to any healthcare personnel who might be working there that needs a place to rest. For our house in Durham, guest families have been leaving since then, and now we are down to 6 guest families And we are still taking care of them 24 hours a day. I'm really proud of the way our team has really pulled together to fill in gaps where necessary. Our volunteer program has had to stop because part of the directive from Ronald McDonald House Charities Global is the reduction of the volunteer programs. That also happened in both of our hospital programs for our family rooms where there's no volunteers, so we have had to close both of those programs. So instead, what our incredible family care team has done is they have taken supplies to the healthcare personnel who in turn have been distributing to the families as is needed. So our programs are still going, they're just going in a different way. Innovation is the word of the day for our team at the Ronald McDonald House, and we're doing everything we can to continue to take care of our guest families. And the volunteers too. In fact, one of our favorite activities on Thursday nights at the Ronald McDonald House is bingo. So since we can't do that the same way, we've learned how to innovate. So we have bingo over the intercom, and the prizes are delivered to the guest rooms as winners are announced. And for our volunteers, we've actually had a virtual bingo tournament, and the next day the prizes were delivered to the volunteers at their homes. We're doing this not only because we need to continue to have fun and take care of our guest families and volunteers, but we also want to keep everybody connected, and that is a great way to do that. Your support during this time has helped us do these things, and we are so appreciative. This disease, obviously, this pandemic, has taken a toll on all of us. But we're going to get through this together. We are also innovating because we want to stay open. There have been over 100 Ronald McDonald houses that have closed around the country for various reasons. Financial, all of the families have left, etc. And we're doing everything we can to take care of our 6 guest families that are still with us because they need us desperately. There is one thing, even with all of the changes and all of the innovation, there is one thing that has not changed. We're still doing everything we can every single day to keep families close when they're needed most. While it is a challenging time, it's also an interesting one. We know our mission is to comfort our guest families, but during this time, our guest families are comforting us. Uncertainty is no stranger to them. They're dealing with it every single day. And they've been able to provide us wisdom and insight that has helped us cope during this time as well. And we have listed some of those on the front page of the annual report that we sent you. Yes, this is a challenging time, but it's also a time of hope. And it's also a time where we can look at what we have been doing, and perhaps we can find ways of doing it differently while doing it better. So it is also an energizing time for us as we look for new and better ways to take care of our guest families. We're also doing everything we can to start welcoming guest families again. Ronald McDonald House Charities Global in Chicago sent a 22-page document outlining the things that have to be in place for us to be able to do that. And we're working tirelessly to get that done. My guess is we'll be able to start welcoming new families sometime in the middle of the summer, late summer, something like that. A lot of it depends on what this disease does. Once we are able to reopen, our top priority is going to be welcoming new guest families into our 2 house programs. We're doing this because we know the volunteer programs inside of the hospitals may take a little longer to open up. But eventually our goal is to have all 4 programs up and running, just as busy as ever, and we're going to do that just as soon as we possibly and safely can do that. Everybody knows that I love talking about how special the Ronald McDonald House is. Nobody knows better than me that hearing from guest families who are actually staying here means so much more. I'd like to introduce you to someone who has been staying at the Ronald McDonald House for several months now with her mom. Hermione is very bright. She is incredibly artistic. In fact, there's a picture of her and some of her artwork with her ceiling tile in the annual report that you were sent. I'd love for her to spend a little time now to let you know what it's been like for her and her family staying at the Ronald McDonald House through these times. Hermione, thank you for being with us.
I'm Hermione Dillon. I'm 14 years old. I'm from Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is about 2.5 hours away, and I've been staying at the Ronald McDonald House for about 2 years now. What I like best about the Ronald McDonald House is that there's a bingo game every week, and I can play bingo with the other families and some staff members, and I really have a good time doing that. One of the best friends I've made while staying at the Ronald McDonald House is Maddie. Maddie is from Australia, and she's about my age, and we share similar hobbies and interests. And while she was here, she and I were great friends. Things have really changed around here since COVID-19 because there are a lot less families staying here, and a lot of the common areas like the schoolroom and the computer room have been closed. It's really quiet. It's too quiet. And I like it better when there are other families here because it just gives a busier atmosphere, and it's just weirdly quiet. The Ronald McDonald House team here is really wonderful because they care for all the families and they make sure it's safe and clean for everyone, and they serve the warm meals every night. I really appreciate how everyone supports the Ronald McDonald House because families that are going through medical treatments for their children and families and kids who just have to go through medical things have a wonderful place to stay and a place they can call home while they are away from their home. One of the things I'm looking forward to most is when I get to see my family again after this COVID-19 is over. Because I really miss them, and I really miss my little brother.
The Hensleys have been with us since February. Their beautiful daughter just turned 2. And they're going to give you some insights about their experience being here at the Ronald McDonald House through this time. Thank you, Hensleys, for spending a little time with us. We look forward to hearing what you have to say.
I'm Veronica.
I'm Michael.
This is Waylon Hensley, and she is 2 years old. She's battled with acute myeloid leukemia since she was 6 months old. We came here to Durham for a bone marrow transplant February 12th. So we've been here at Ronald McDonald House for almost 5 months. If the Ronald McDonald House had not been here, I'm guessing we would have had to have stayed in a hotel, which wouldn't have been affordable for one. We have a family of 7. Waylon has other siblings. And of course, we're having to take time off work. And with COVID too, I would not have felt safe at a hotel and bringing Waylon in and out with her immune system also. We would have had to do what we would have had to do and figure out a way, but I'm glad Ronald McDonald House has been here. We got here right before COVID pandemic started, and when we came, the house was definitely full. There were a lot of really great families here and great volunteers here, and then all the COVID happened, and they haven't had, families have gotten to go home, thank God. It's definitely more empty now. There's not as many people here, but the staff have still been amazing. Always made sure that there's food, supplies, anything we need has still been ongoing. Never, like I said, we've never needed for anything. So we found out about the Ronald McDonald House from the social worker at Mission Hospital, where we live, where we're from, when we found out we had to come here. And I also knew other families that had been through the same thing that Waylon is going through, and they had nothing but great things to say about the Ronald McDonald House of Durham. And we had a choice of different hospitals to go to, and we chose Duke and Durham for that reason, because there was nothing but good things said about Ronald McDonald House and the hospital doctors and all that.
If I had to describe the Ronald McDonald House, one or two words, I'd have to say amazing. It's very clean. Nobody bothers you. It's just a great place all the way around.
Okay, if I had to describe the Ronald McDonald House in one or two words, I would say kind, caring, and loving. We've been separated from our family being here, and we've felt at home here as much as we possibly can because of everyone here.
Thank you, Hensleys. And thanks again, Hermione. Isn't it amazing to think that these are two stories out of over 900 that come through our doors every year at the Ronald McDonald House in Durham and our Ronald McDonald House at Wake Med, and our two family room programs at Wake Med and at Duke Children's? It helps keep perspective on why we all, working together, do what we do for these families. And it's worth it. We learned a little bit today about the impact we had in 2019. We learned a little bit about how this COVID-19 coronavirus has affected our programs and what our plans are in the new normal after it to start welcoming new guest families. Now, what we'd like is to hear from you. If you have questions that were not covered so far, we'd love the opportunity to answer them. And if we don't get to it today for some reason, or if you're a little bit later on think, you know what, I wish I had asked this, please reach out to us. We would love to talk to you, and we would love to give you any information that you like about what we're doing at the Ronald McDonald House now and what we plan to do in the coming months. Thanks again for being with us, and thanks again for all you do to help us keep families close when their children need them most.